Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is December 21st, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. Check out our deep trough here. It is setting the stage here for some very active weather back across the state of California. And of course, this is coinciding with the holiday travel season. Big rains already occurring across some of Northern California. We've got flooding, debris flows already ongoing, and this is just going to continue for the next few days. We've also got some very big wind potential with some of these storm systems, some big mountain snows. So let's go ahead and just jump into things. Look at the Tempest weather station. If you want a nice, affordable home weather station for your place of residence, I've tested 2 of these at my house. Very fun weather station. Click on the link down below to save 10% off. Highly recommended. Now, looking at Eureka National Weather Service, so much going on here that it just kind of looks like a mess out there, but you can click on your individual location on the National Weather Service maps if you need to know more information. But if we take a look at the combination of Doppler radars, you can see this plume of moderate rainfall already ongoing. Again, there's some flooding concerns right now across much of this area, and this is going to be pivoting further south as we go through tonight, and then eventually including Southern California as we go through the next few days, including Christmas Eve and Christmas, with some high impact stuff coming. We got winter storm watches for some of the higher trains and big mountain snows also. So taking a look here, now let's go to Los Angeles National Weather Service. You can see the timeline of this as you go through San Luis Obispo County, and as you go towards Santa Barbara and Ventura, and then Los Angeles County, you see as you go through Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day, all the way down through San Diego, some moderate impacts. This could be upgraded here as well. Some aviation disruptions due to heavy rain, slick roadways, traffic accidents, debris flows, high snow levels, flooding concerns, you name it, we got it. And across some of the higher terrain of the Sierra Nevada, some pretty good snowfall amounts rolling in here. You see Hanford National Weather Service talking about 3 to 5 feet by the end of next week, above 7,000 feet, snowballs as low as 6,000 feet by Wednesday. So could be including some of the pass areas. Sacramento showing us something similar here as well. High impact stuff potentially coming in. And I'll start to show you the weather models here in a moment and show you what we're dealing with. Now, National Weather Service San Francisco also with some very strong wording here. You can read through this: dangerous conditions out there, impactful and likely very, very hazardous winds Tuesday through early Friday, travel disruptions, all kinds of stuff. And look at this down here: storm force to isolated hurricane force winds if this holds true. So yeah, could be very dangerous out there. Now, looking at what is going on. So 18,000 feet, 500 millibars, approximately 18,000 feet. Look at this deep trough off our coastline. A lot of cold air spilling out over the Pacific Ocean, really bringing some dynamic weather. There goes our first system moving up the coastline. And then you can see this trough is going to be with us here as we go through Christmas Day and then probably on in towards the following weekend there. Who knows what's going to happen after that? We'll worry about that later. Too much to worry about here in the short term. So taking a look at this plume of moisture across Northern California, you can see it bounce around and again target certain areas. Again, it kind of targets the Bay Area and is very persistent. And then we get this next very potent storm developing here. Look at the pressure gradient on this bad boy. 20 millibars just south of Eureka towards the Bay Area would bring some extreme winds. This is a unicorn, very unique storm across the state of California if this were to verify. And the European is very steadfast with this extremely deep low moving up the coastline here. So we got to watch it. Not all the models show the low being that deep, but if it is that deep, that's big problems, folks. And you can see the plume of moisture associated with this storm moving into Southern California, the big mountain snows as well, widespread flooding concerns. What a storm this would be. It's likely on the way. We're just kind of in disagreement on just how strong it is actually going to be. And then we scroll a little bit further out and you can see an additional strong low will probably be with us as we go through the day on Christmas. And again, big impacts across much of the Southwest. Now, looking at this in a wider view of things here, it just kind of shows you how unique this storm system has been showing up on the European. Look at this 990 millibar low right there abeam the California-Mexican border. That is just extremely unique for it to be there. And it deepens as it moves north, just dragging a very potent pressure gradient. Extreme pressure rises as that system rolls across the area up towards the Pacific Northwest. And then again, a deep low will be with us here all the way on in through Christmas with additional impacts. And if we look at the 100-meter wind speeds just to see what that would look like, you can see the atmosphere river bouncing around there towards the Bay Area and Central California. Then look at this next storm rolling in here. My goodness, look at this coastal jet that would form. These are 100-meter winds sustained in knots. These are hurricane force gusts back here, not gusts, sustained winds, hurricane force sustained winds with this low. And then we move on in towards, what is this, about the 23rd evening. Then we go towards early Christmas Eve as this thing would just absolutely hammer the Bay Area north. And some of the Central Coast would just get absolutely ripped apart apart as well with this storm system. Southern California, some big winds also. So we really got to watch this. Look at some of the winds that come across the Sacramento Valley. That could bring widespread damaging winds, and it could leave a lot of people without power as you go through Christmas as well. And then you can see additional strong winds potentially as you go through Christmas Eve, Christmas for much of the state. So when you get a deterministic model run showing crazy weather like that, you start to turn to the ensemble. So this is the chance of a low pressure being 1,000 millibars or less. So we already know there's a strong storm coming, and we're pretty good agreement that the low is going to be 1,000 millibars or less. That's why I wish they had like a 995 millibar cutoff. So if we jump down to 990, you see actually, let me jump back to the 060 data here so we can actually go out far enough to look. You can see there is the chances in the ensemble members of a 990 or lower storm moving up. So that's a very strong storm. So again, the ensemble agreement isn't that great on the low being extremely deep, but the deterministic showing it kind of gives you a cause for concern. And the ensembles do show, again, the storm is on its way. Now, if we take a look at the artificial intelligence to see what it shows, again, you can see the atmospheric river bouncing around California, starts to target the Bay Area. Then the next storm system starts to really get ramped up. And that's a pretty strong low there on the artificial intelligence as well. So we're starting to get some agreement on a pretty potent storm system. Not as strong as what the European was showing, but that would still have high impacts. And you can see the associated plume of moisture into Southern California, bringing the flooding concerns across portions of Nevada, Arizona, and Utah as well. And then it has a 985 millibar low sitting in the wake of that. Just big time impacts. This would be on the day Christmas. So wild stuff coming up here, folks. Big waves for the coastline too, and big mountain snows. So if we look at total precipitation in inches, we're going through this afternoon. There's this afternoon, and then you can see it drops down towards the Bay Area there as well. And then the next storm system really starts to form and comes in on the 23rd and the Christmas Eve day. And you can see some of these huge precipitation amounts. This is only 117 hours out. This is not like we scrolled out through 360 hours on one of the 2-week models. This is only 117 hours. Some ridiculous precipitation amounts coming for much of the state of California. I mean, my goodness, just perfectly targeted here. Now, if we look at the 24-hour running total, again, 24-hour totals, this is just absolutely sinister stuff here, folks. There would be some serious flooding concerns across much of Southern California on Christmas Eve if this were to verify, and it's looking more and more likely like it will, and maybe remaining active for some portions of California as we go on in through later portions in the month. Now, looking at significant wave height, let's see if the 12Z data is coming in here, and we'll kind of take a look. And in fact, I don't think I was looking at 12Z European data, and we're going to take another look at that if that's the case. But look at some of these monster waves here if that storm does develop. Now, that's the 12Z data. I want to show you here that actually let's back up, and we're going to go to the European model here, and we're going to go back to pressure. Does the 12Z model, and hot off the presses here, European, what does it show with this storm system? I have not looked at this yet. Here we go. Deep low 987, 985. That's an extremely powerful storm still. I mean, look at this pressure gradient. You're talking about 987. That's 13 millibars right here. That's 17 millibars. So yeah, that's not quite as strong as the 06, but that's still an exceptionally strong, that's low, that's still deepening as it moves up towards the California-Oregon border. So yeah, continues to show that absolutely potent system. And then another very strong system after that as we go through the Christmas Day time period. Wild stuff. So that was hot off the presses. That's the first time I've looked at that here today. So here's day one, got the moderate risk out there. And of course, if you look down here, you can see a few landslides and debris flows have already been reported here, and some additional flood related impacts are likely coming here. Of course, you saw that precipitation out there. There's the day two with the moderate risk, the day three with the slight risk, and we may get some upgrades to this as well. There's the day four still. This goes Christmas Eve to Christmas morning, and this is Christmas morning to the day after, and we may get some upgrades to that as well. Absolutely wild period here coming up for the state of California. And if we look at the artificial intelligence ensemble members there as well, again, it's kind of academic at this point. The huge rains are coming for much of the state of California. That's about 10 days out, some huge amounts coming. Now, 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook above normal. That should make sense. So the entire lower 48 is above normal. Look at Alaska below normal there as we go through December 30th. And not much precipitation so far this year. I mean, that's changing right now for Northern California, but this is going to change dramatically here over the next few days. And we have no drought across the state of California. Thumbs up. Give thanks for that. Here's the Patreon page. It's a great way to donate some of your hard-earned money towards the channel if you want to help support it. And Patreon lets me keep about 90% of what you donate with your hard-earned money. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. Otherwise, we will do this all again tomorrow. I may be starting to live stream here over the next couple of days at times because big time impacts rolling in here. It doesn't get much bigger here for the state of California. And yeah, otherwise I will catch you guys here in the next forecast.